Madam Chair, just a point of clarification. This is, I guess, what I would call phase one of a much bigger plan to improve the drainage at Heritage Park. I think as Heritage Park was assembled and built and things added to it, as we looked at everything above ground, what we really didn't look at is how the site was engineered and how it could handle water and stormwater runoff and retention. And so we will continue to work with Wade Trim and the DPW. We're shooting the drains. We're strategically placing culverts in place to try to keep debris off the drains. But there is a big issue with water sitting on the site over there, not just in the back of the park, but at all types of different points of the park.
Do you need to recontour it, re-excavate it, and put swales in it?
So we are looking at bioswales. That was one thing, if you remember, a few years ago we applied for a grant and we were not successful getting the grant, but we are looking at some bioswales, particularly closer to Cone Lake, where you'll see like a lot of the dead grass is currently from where the water just stood in place. And so we're looking at placing a couple there, but there will likely be one or two more phases to the entire drainage improvement at Heritage Park, but it will likely come in time.
Okay. I was just curious why we went from normally it's a 10% contingency and we asked for 15 on this one.
It was the recommendation of Wade Trim. I think it was in their recommendation letter.
To the administration there, I know we got the splash pad there, and we talked about it before. I'd like to see somewhere in the future plan that water from that splash pad is done through a lazy river type system, sort of like Ford Plant does. They use the live roof, so that water's just not going down the drain. But somehow it gets funneled back into Cullen Lake. And then by the time it gets there through either a stream with plants and rocks and it's clean, or wherever.
You know, okay, so because we looked at the reclaim process at one point in time on the splash pad.
We'll have to reuse it,
Right.
just to be able to have it in, because we started pumping out of that well, which we can't because of sulfur.
Right.
And when it's really hot, then we're filling it up with a fire hydrant.
We can look at that. We're looking at some point in time, maybe a second phase to that. I don't know if it's a splash pad for bigger kids or if it's I hate to say a pool because then people think, you know, okay, you just said a pool. But something, yeah, no.
With a water slide.
Yeah, with a water slide. You said that, not me. But we're going to look at it at some point in time. There's an area over there that's kind of left reserved for something else to happen.
There's some, some way with, with these swales and that, to channel this water into Cullen Lake. But they have to have a place for it to exit to, so an overflow. I know our lake up north, we have a center tube that takes overflow. It's not at the end, it's in the center of it.
Would you be able to directly dump city water into Cone Lake without the chemicals affecting the wildlife there?
Well, it would have to go through a cleansing process, so it would have to be engineered.
Madam Chair?
Yeah.
For the last question, both companies for the Windrow Turner offered a 1-year warranty.
Okay.
Madam Chair, excuse me, I have to leave. I apologize. I have to go pick up my son. My wife can't, so I apologize. If there's anything else, just call me or text me.
Is there anything you want to tell us about what's left?
No, I think they're all pretty simple.
George's, okay.
Yep.
Nice man, okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Item number 30, this is for the two places.
Makes a lot of people happy.
And
What's that?
yeah, the place.
This will make a lot of people happy. I noticed the difference, only $100 from both companies, but the place seems so interesting.
Was we able to get any money back for the one that was taken out at Central? From the car that went up and hit the playscape that Taylor Warren Central?
We attempted and we were.
Yeah, you said we probably would.
Yes.
Couldn't take their car.
We got like a lease on it or something.
Don't drag it right.
So the next one's for Mr. Dodak, and so the whole thing is going to be in metal?
Correct.
Okay, good.
It's going to be engineered, and then I'm sure that there's going to have to be some pilings, Madam Chair. We ran into this at the Taylor Meadows as well when we built the pump station, that the underlying ground of the water table there is not sufficient to hold normal construction. So you gotta do these, they look like a big screw, a big metal screw, and you screw it down into the ground. It's kind of engineered pilings.
So you get
And
some
then you
rock.
build on top of that so that they don't go anywhere. So this has been through engineering to make sure that whatever we put up there is not gonna sway and tilt and, because what we did was we started looking at like doing some repairs and maintenance on it, and so we started doing things, it's just sort of falling and leaning and,
I rebuilt that deck on there 10 years ago, and it just keeps sinking. You know, it's nothing you can
there's
do.
nothing you can do, so it's
Because it
gonna,
wasn't engineered, it was just sat there.
yes. So that's
Why do you think there was such a difference between, a couple of the contractors from 130, almost 135 to 55?
I'm not sure, I know we don't
And
work,
that's the only out-of-state company too, which is,
I know we don't work with the engineering on this, so I mean, I could ask him exactly how that came to be.
I'm sure he's included the pilings.
Well, I get that, yeah, I mean, all the drawings are the same way, where it's
Seems
got a,
like way off.
Well, on the motion, it says $5,494, it's actually $54, right?
you left the motion, Sam.
Oh, I'm looking
yeah,
at
it's
contingency,
54,
I'm
it's
sorry.
on the
Yep,
cover
yep,
sheet,
yep.
but yeah.
Yeah, 'cause that's 10%.
But I do know, Madam Chair, I do know that this went through the budget and finance and the purchasing policy, so.
Okay,
And then their engineering requirements went out as part of that.
That went under the microscope. E32 is a motion to amend the resolution number to increase authority of 41,400. Oh, you just want to increase your blanket?
Sure,
huh?
to those items, it's the additional amount column, and that's good to let you have, that's how it's gonna be split.
So the additional, it looks like $25,000 gonna go for HVAC, services and controls, is that,
That's correct.
okay.
Mhm.
You have any questions for the paid invoice report for Jason? And the budget performance report? All right, then that brings us,
Open business one?
well, we've got one more, wait a minute, we've got a fiscal year.
Yeah, budget amendment,
Yeah.
35.
You just,
You emailed it to everyone, and I did print it out, but I didn't get yours.
yeah, I should have it.
It's only people that love. You special.
Perfectly.
36 is treasurer's payroll. And that brings us to open business one. Since this is the first time we're laying our eyes on it,
Sorry. My fault. This is, you guys go through memory a little bit. When we did.
for the website?
Yeah, you approved the contract, where it was a 40-60% split. You, council paid 40, Temple paid 60%. But in that, I was remiss, this is my fault, Susie said that there should have been a line item for the maintenance. It's in the contract, but I didn't take it out and make it a single line item. So TIFA just approved for the 60% of the maintenance and support contract. I'm asking the council to do the 4,000, got it, 47. George tried to convince them, and they said, no. And I'm asking council to pay the 40%. And there is.
So this is an annual amount, but we're approving it for 5 years or just for 1 year?
5 years, just so we didn't have to come every year and go over it.
5 years, so it's gonna be
Total
actually
amount is.
like $30,000.
We can maintain?
This is their support that they give us. If we have any
Yeah.
issues or they go down,
Let me spend that on
Yeah. That was a guess. Excellent.
Okay, I guess that's it. Does anybody have anything else?